It's really late. I shouldn't be up. But I wanted to buy donuts, and it's easier for me to stay up late than it is to wake up early. That's the truth. But I did want to go over something. So I am building this little game where you've got some cards here from a deck you pull, and the placemat is like where the cards are placed on the mat. Whoop-de-doo. And then the deck is, of course, where you draw cards. And actually, I want this one, don't I? Yeah. So when I first built this, kind of building everything from the smallest pieces up, placeholder has this function called select that is called, and a few other things are actually called on this input event. And I'll just show you what that looks like. So this is how it's working currently. You draw some cards, and you're allowed to draw 5 cards. You can't draw any more. They're doing a game jam with like tarot, so they each are. These are just like some descriptive information for each card. And part of the game we talked about was you select like 3 out of 5. The thing is, that selection call is at this placeholder level, and the table is where we're like actually storing selected cards. So what do? We do the input check here. That's literally it. I'm sure there are a million ways to be very clever about like refactoring. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like you could create some kind of like, oh, what if we did inheritance, or whoa, what if we did some kind of thing, or like, you do not have to redesign your project or what you're working on just because you're making an update, just because you're refactoring. You do not need to create or utilize some specific architecture style, because this is just the nature of the work. Like, it requires things to be remade. That's it. This is not a particularly difficult thing. Like here we go. I say select and car is animating. Okay. And then it's like, all right, we're gonna have to pass something through the placemat. So we'll just pass the select through there. In fact, we can just call select, because each placeholder is holding whether or not a mouse is hovered over. And, again, we have this select function. Now, another part of this select function, of course, is like that we're doing some of this. The card is selected, gets toggled, and we are passing this in as well. So what I'm going to do here is move this check into the select function way up here. Let's see here. We're not going to do this input check. And there we go. Now, obviously, I don't want to reselect what I'm doing. Which would be bad. But one thing we could do is just say, hey, card is selected. Okay, well, if we're going to toggle that into something new, you got to be careful. We're supposed to pass select up. Oh, this will be true or false, yeah. So we won't know what this state is when we pass it in. Okay. And it's going to be a little messy. It's going to look sloppy and awful for a second. That's okay. Yeah. So here we are. We'll just say, look, our placemat needs to have a select function. And we can just kind of work from there too. So here we are. Passing nothing in. And we can iterate through our placeholders. There we go. And all we have to do is for each one, literally cause select. I know it seems a little silly to do this on every click. It's not going to be very, I don't know, performant, painful. But we do need to have some kind of... All right, so we already have an isSelected toggle, which is what we read here. So we say if we're not animating and we're focused, which is important. And we can probably remove this interrupt here. That's not really an interrupt. I don't know what an interrupt is. Not in the sense of, like, I feel like I've heard it in certain circles. Seems like a C programming thing, you know? Or something, I don't know. Or maybe I have heard of it, I just forgot, like, what it represents. But, alright, so we're not gonna have this. Instead, we're just gonna say if we're not selected, select. And if we're gonna just check the same thing twice, which is a little silly, so we won't do that. We'll just make these switch places. So if we're selected, we slip backwards, and then we'll do this. If not, slide moves it forward and it makes it grow a little bit. But yeah, and of course we're toggling our animation. So let's see here. We're going to flip this selection way down here. In fact, we don't. Should we do this for card too? We need to do it for our own value if it's selected. Woo, lol. Yeah, so we'll toggle that. And I don't know if I need to omit selected. Yeah, we pass a callable in here. A callable. We handle card selected. Yeah, because we need to actually pass back the card that was selected and what its new value is. So we will be emitting this signal, in fact. And then for this one, we're going to reverse these two. If it's not focused... Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wrap the whole thing in parentheses and flip that instead. If we must be focused and the card must not be animating. And if we're not in that state, there's nothing to process. New selection is not, oh yes, of course. So the new selection is, of course, whatever we set is selected to just above. There we go. And the card is going to look actually like our older function. Well, we don't care about that. We don't care at all. And yeah. Okay. I'm going to move this for now. Because we don't really, I was just showing you the hierarchy. Okay, let's run our test again. And this time, it should Actually, isn't going to prevent us from... Because they did all this to make sure that we're not selecting past a certain... In fact, all I can do here is just take this check. If our selected size is less than the selection cap. Oh. No. I might have to do right click and left click actually. Because we select it with right click to make it selected or deselected. You know what? So actually, I am going to handle this here. Yeah, and so we'll let anything get selected to pass the selection data back up to us. And once we have that data, we're just going to say, hey, is that size less than? If not, then there's nothing to add. But if we exceed this cap, then it's like, okay. I think that'll do it. Sorry, it's late. I don't know if my brain's fully here, if I'm explaining everything fully. Okay, but this should stop us at 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. Damn. Why is it still allowing it? One. Selection cap is 3. Selection size is 0 right now. Yeah. And selected is 1. Selected size is 2. But now selected size is 3. And it's not less than this. Scheiße. We're back to our original problem though, aren't we? This kind of blows because I could do like a try selection and pass that back up and then call a select, which seems so goofy, but I don't know. Maybe that is the best way of handling this. It feels a little weird, but again, okay, so instead of select, I'm going to call this try select. And you're going to call that specifically. And, oh, whoops, I'm sorry. What did I change? Yeah, okay, try select. And each of these, instead of doing all these animations, so select, if, tell you what, try select, we'll do that check again, except this time, instead of returning, we'll say if we are focused and if the card is not animating, then we'll just say, hey, you can select this card if you want to. The option is there. If you really want to select the actual card, though, then do so here. Okay. So we do a try select, and that says, hey, this card has officially been selected, or an attempt of selection has been made. Or if I should change what it's called. Select. Attempted. That's a little clearer what we're doing here. And then in placemat, attempted. And that's fine, we can call it that. Selection callable is passed in the setup function from table, which is right here. So this is what ends up getting called. So now that card data comes all the way up here, and we say, hey, first of all, can we make a selection? And if we do so. And then also, nuts. Do we need value? Make sure I do that. We don't just want the placeholder selected. We don't want to select the card. So instead of select attempted, no, actually that's fine. We'll pass back the placeholder instead. Let's see here. This does not care, but this does. So instead of the card, yeah, I know. A placeholder card. We're gonna call the placeholder select function, which is the actual make the selection, not just attempt it, which calls the card also. This feels a little messy back and forth, but again, this is a small game. It's a very simple game. It's broken. All right, why is selected? Oh, no, the opposite. We're passing a new value in here now, aren't we? Okay. Let's start from here. I want to see what's wrong. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's just chill out for a second. Oh my god. Lull. Yep. All right. Okay. This one was selected successfully. Now its current is selected state should be false. Yeah. And then we do have a card value. Okay, what are you doing? Call select attempted. Can I convert one object? Oh, that's simple. Lol. Let's remove this check. Sometimes the problem is just a little change that solves itself. There we go. Hey, look at that. We can't click these two, but if I... that's fine. I know what it is. If it's a false value, we'll still let the select happen. Yes. There we go. So now we can only have 3 selected. But if we deselect one, we can select some others. And yeah. Weren't. It's a little sticky with the controls. I think it's because it's animating. I don't entirely like that, so maybe we'll do the animation differently. Well, whatever. Point is we got our... Yeah, I click on it. I swear, it's like... It's not picking up on every click. This is why things that start out simple always become very messy very quickly. Why won't you select when I selected you? Something's funky. Am I like not? Maybe I'm like scrolling over it too fast. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So it's like, okay, we've refactored things. Is it weird? It is weird. And there's a part of me that's like, I hate this. It's awful. But we needed these systems to talk a little bit more intricately with each other. And I know you could abstract it away and make some new thing that is like all abstract and whatever. But do we need that? Because we've solved our problem. Yeah, it's a little messy. It's some spaghetti, right? But like, it works. And we don't need to utilize some new pattern. Because as far as we know, this is the only thing so far that needs this. And if we start encountering it more, maybe it's time to pull out a textbook or two, right? And try to look some stuff up. But like, this is adequate. It works. And we don't need to add any more. We can call this a day. And in fact, I will. So, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to kind of show that because I've done a lot of stuff on this channel that's more like me just streaming and being a sort of little gremlin. But like, I do want to try to be a little more educational and helpful if I can. And encouraging to people who are starting out who might be like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. And it's like, I got news for you, bud. If it works, it's correct. That's it. That's all it is. If it is functional. And like, can it get messy? Yeah, oh, absolutely. If there's ways to simplify it, then go for it. But sometimes the simplest thing to do is to just leave it alone. And like, you made it. It works. It's fine. Like, it was working before, it was adequate until we needed to make sure that we could only select 3 cards at a time. Okay. I reworked it a little bit, as you saw, and now that's working. Now it's time to leave it alone again, and we'll come back to it if we need to. So anyway, that was it. I'm the Triangle. Don't forget to go try something new.